Hello, it's me, John, of the Bronies UK YouTube channel, and yeah, I was hoping to come. Myself, Lawrence, and Sam. I was hoping we could have done a live stream discussion this evening, but unfortunately that's fallen through. Sam, I primarily want all of us together to really talk about this, but I thought, sod it, I'm going to make a discussion video of my own personal thoughts. A live stream will likely still happen. I want, it'd be good to get Lawrence and Sam's opinions on Chapter 6 of Make Your Mark. So it'd be good to see, be good to hear and get their opinion as well at some point. But it's probably going to be maybe next weekend, hopefully, all things well. I'm on holiday at the moment, so I have a little bit more time to myself. But when I go back, I'm on Christmas shift, Christmas rotas, which means a lot. I'm going to be working quite a lot of hours, so I might not have as much time to myself to make stuff. So that's why I'm here now, primarily, because I want to get my 5 cents out there and get it uploaded to the channel, because we were originally going to be doing, as soon as Chapter 6 episodes released, all 3 of us were going to do a live stream and talk about them either in real time, like we were thinking about watching them in real time, watching the episodes and the special Chapter 6 episodes, all in real time, and then just do our thoughts like that. We were thinking of doing that approach, or just one of our regular live stream chats. But it's obviously not happened. And the Chapter 6 has been out for at least a week now, maybe approaching 2 weeks. So here's my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna be too long, hopefully. But I just generally want to just get my thoughts off the top of my head out there, and then we will come together for a live stream as soon as we are all free and available. But anyway, so My Little Pony, Make Your Mark, Chapter 6. I'm going to be quite blunt. I am a very open-minded person. I try to be open-minded, and if anybody that is a regular viewer to the channel saw a live stream I did where it was just me on my own, and I basically was going through kind of like some of the pictures that was taken, or some of the some stills that were taken and shared on Equestria Daily, in an article of some scenes featuring the dragon characters, and a certain character that everyone seemed to think was Spike. And I did a live stream discussion talking about all this new information, which was, I think, the last stream I did on the channel, or the last video kind of information kind of video I did before the episodes went up. And so if you remember that episode, you will remember that I was a little bit unsure about the design of the dragons, and I was a little bit unsure about the fact of how they've redesigned Spike. And yeah, it is Spike. It was Spike. I don't really like Spike, how he's been portrayed in this series. I understand. I've seen people, other fans, other Bronies, Pegasisters, or fans in general, that are also fans of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and as well as Make Your Mark. And I've seen some very, some people seem to be liking Make Your Mark for what it is, which is fine. And there seems to be kind of like a 50-50 divide kind of going on within the fan base. And it seems that, yes, I'm happy to see Spike back. Spike is a name I have been kind of thinking about or speculating about for a little bit ever since Make Your Mark came out, and before Make Your Mark even started, and when it was announced that there would be a generation, a G5, a generation 5, and the fact that it was going, and when we found out that it was going to be within the confines of Friendship's Magic, it's going to be canon to some degree. And then we started like speculating, and fans started making videos like I am now, making videos and speculating and talking about stuff like, could we see some returning characters? And indeed, we have kind of had a, with the movie, when the Make Your Mark movie, or the when the movie came out, we had that really nice beginning sequence where with all the main 6, or the main 5 anyway, and it's basically Sunny, Sprout, and Hitch playing when they were little, and like kind of like an imagination kind of daydreams kind of sequence, and you see the Twilight and everybody. Really, really cool when they did that. And then when the series started, we're like, could we see returning characters? Like, which characters do you think would still be alive in this time frame where Make Your Mark is set? And Spike was a name that I brought up, and a few other people within the fan base have also spoken about. And Spike, indeed, he comes back as we see in Chapter 6. And the only thing is, I don't like Spike's design. I know some fans of Friendship is Magic wasn't very happy with the design. Excuse me. I know some fans weren't very happy with Spike's design at the end of Friendship is Magic in season 9, and the last episode of season 9, and there's like a time gap, and it's at the Twilight's coronation, and you see a grown-up version of Spike, and he's like real broad, and he's tall, and he doesn't really look much like a dragon. I grant you, I do understand, he doesn't really look much like a dragon. He just looks like a big buff burly guy basically, and I understand where dragons, they kind of go through growth scenarios, like they start off as a baby, as we know Spike as a baby dragon, and then obviously as they grow they tend to get really, obviously very, very large because they are dragons, of course. But I understand that with Chapter 6, and when we meet Spike, he is of course, apparently he's like, I don't know, it's like he's been asleep for like 100 moons, something like that. He's been in like a magical hibernation for about 100. I think it says something like 100 moons or something like that. So he's been asleep for quite a long time. So for some reason he's grown ridiculously larger in that time frame of being asleep. Right, okay, fine. Of course, growth is normal, and with him being a dragon, I understand he will be very, very big compared to ponies. I get that, but I just don't like his design, and I'm not a big fan of the dragon's designs in general. I just think they look very, very quick and cheap, and I just don't think there was as much heart in the design. For me personally, I just don't think there was as much heart in the designing of the dragon characters. I just think they're like, right, okay, let's just design one dragon, and then all the other dragons are practically carbon copies, but just different colour palette, and they might maybe change their wings, and their magical abilities are slightly, obviously, all different because it's all elemental magic and all that. So yeah, okay, fine, I get that. But I get that. I mean, obviously, Friendship is Magic pretty much all the pony characters, the regular pony characters, are all pretty much based on the same template, but they're just different colours and different main hairstyles and things of that nature. And some of them have wings and some of them have horns and stuff like that. So that's the only differences between the designs of the characters of the ponies. So coming to the dragons being pretty much carbon copies isn't necessarily a surprise, but I just feel the design of the dragons is very, it's a bit lazy, in my opinion. And also, I wasn't massively keen on the voice actor choice for Spike in Chapter 6 episodes either. Now, I understand getting like Kathy Wesseluk back, who played Baby Spike. Of course, that won't make any sense. But the fact is that the guy was... I just feel the voice actor for... I just feel the voice actor for Spike in Chapter 6 was a little bit too low in the voice register for me. I think a nice in-between low and high, kind of like a mid-range voice might maybe have suited him better. I don't know, just for some reason, as soon as he opened his voice, I just cringed. As soon as he started to speak, I cringed like mad when I was watching the episode, when he first appears. I don't really like the voice acting choice. Even though I've got nothing against the voice actor in person, it per se, of course, he's just doing, he's been brought on to do a job, and that's that. He's obviously a very, very good voice actor, but it's just, I just feel the low register of his voice didn't really work well for Spike. All the other dragon characters, male, female dragon characters that are in Chapter 6, all them have very high pitched and not very low voices. They're kind of mid range, or very, very high, or mid range. It's in that register, pitch register, either mid or very high. I understand they wanted to kind of like single out Spike to a degree, with him being the leader of the dragons. He's like in charge, he's the boss, he's the guy in charge. So I understand they wanted to probably give him more of a grander voice because he's in authority, he's the big cheese kind of thing. I get that. But I think they could have maybe still have kind of like got a voice, or got a voice actor, or the voice actor that was voicing him maybe kind of make him kind of go a little bit higher. I just think it just took me out of the performance a little bit for me. That's just me. Some people might think I'm being a little bit, some people might think I'm being a little bit over dramatic, but these are just my opinions. My personal preferences. I just wasn't a big fan of the design of Spike or the dragons in Chapter 6, and I thought the voice choice was a little bit too low for what you could come to understand with Spike. That's just me. Also, before I finish this video, I need to talk about the whole thing in general and the special. So the special, I was looking forward to the special because of the title. Okay, the title suggested or kind of give us an idea that a certain character could have returned, or it could be some way, or obviously, of course, the character I'm talking about is Starlight Glimmer. And of course, Starlight Glimmer, in the time frame of Make Your Mark, she probably wouldn't be around anymore, unless she did somehow become a princess, but we don't see that in Friendship is Magic. She never becomes one. So she stays an alicorn She stays the way she is complete throughout from when she debuted right to the end of season 9. She was the same, and so her being around or still alive wouldn't make sense. Which I get, I understand because of the time frame. But I was expecting either like a holographic projection thing that they did with Twilight, or I was expecting maybe some sort of like memoir or some sort of diary, some sort of book, because obviously Sunny, she loves her books, she loves, like there's like artifacts, her father collected stuff on his journeys and stuff. So I was expecting something in the realms of that nature, something like a big book or something where it's Secrets of Starlight Glimmer, and she finds this book, she reads it, and she finds out more about Overleen, the past, Celestia Luna, Twilight Sparkle and her friends. She finds out a lot more from the book, secrets, and things like that nature. I was expecting that, but that is not what we got, and Starlight Glimmer wasn't even in it. So the whole name, the name of the special made no sense, in the fact that I don't know whether they did this on purpose, kind of like trolling the fans, or if it was just a coincidence. They just called it Secrets of Starlight. They just called it that for whatever reason, but it seems strange. You call it like Secrets of Starlight. All the fans, of course, myself and many fans, start to speculate the fact that, Starlight Glimmer, start putting one and one together, and that never happened. There was no Starlight Glimmer at all. She wasn't even mentioned. The only character that was mentioned, the only characters mentioned in Chapter 6 completely was Twilight. Twilight and Spike were the only Gen 4 characters that were even mentioned. That was pretty much that. So I was very much let down. I felt let down a little bit. Okay. I understand that, speculation is one thing. A lot of the information we've been given, and sometimes you have no choice but to speculate on things. I understand when you speculate, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen, of course. You're not the one writing it, you're not the writer, you're not the screenwriter, you're not working on it, so you don't know exactly how things are going to pan out. Of course, that's what speculating means. You're speculating, but the fact is that they call the special Legend of like Secrets of Starlight, or something from the realms of that. It just makes you think, well, there's only one character that I can think of called Starlight. You know what I mean? So it's not completely ridiculous to think it could have been something in regards to her. But it's not really. It's basically just the fact that basically they defeat Overleen, and this like portal opens up in one of the trees, magical trees, whatever they call them, and all of the friends go through the portal, and they find this other world, this other village, and all these different characters, and that's pretty much the special. It's Secrets of Starlight. It's like a complete alternate, different reality kind of place that they find, another plane of existence, basically, and that's basically the special. And so I was left a little bit, that's a shame. I think they missed the mark there a little bit. To be honest with you, even though it might sound like I'm shitting on Make Your Mark. I've been very open-minded with Make Your Mark ever since it started. I really liked the film. I really enjoyed the film. That started it all off. And when it started, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. You know, I understood it's not going to be Friendship is Magic. It had a very different tempo, slight, you know, it had a very different feel compared, which I was happy about. I was happy at the fact that the characters felt different. They didn't feel like they were ripping off Friendship is Magic with the characters. They had completely different personalities. Make Your Mark, they had different personalities. It's a different world, different, you know, Maytime Bay, different place where they all live and stuff, and different, you know, it's a different time, completely different time. So I had a lot of respect for the fact that the setting, you know, Maytime Bay, the setting, the characters, all was very different, even though it was still within the confines of G4. I was very happy about that. So I didn't have a big problem with that per se. I was actually quite happy that it was its own thing, and as well as being a continuation, if you will, kind of. But it's still its own thing, and I was happy that they went with that judgment, because I don't want them to, you know, I don't want them to mess up what G4 did. Even though they kind of have, I've noticed people's videos kind of like people going really into analysing it all and time frames and this, that and the other, and it's kind of like, well, certain things doesn't make any sense, and it's sort of like, you know, kind of like it's looking like from what Make Your Mark is doing with its story, and what happened to the magic, that the magic disappeared, and it's obviously because of Overleen, and the magic disappeared, and then Twilight put up this massive big magical barrier to help protect, you know, the gems and everything, the dragon gem and all the different gems and everything that give, you know, that have the magical power within them. You know, she does all that and everything, but, you know, it's almost as if, like, we found out that Twilight's reign didn't last very long. Like, Celestia and Luna's reign as, you know, rulers of Equestria, you know, they were in charge for thousands and thousands of years. We found out they are very ancient beings, and you think that Twilight, with what she accomplished throughout G4, getting to the point of her coronation, and then the whole thing happens with Overleen. He found out a little bit that, you know, obviously Overleen knew Celestia and Luna. She's obviously probably about the same age as Celestia and Luna, give or take, because you see, like, you know, it goes back, doesn't it, to when Celestia and Luna were fillies, and when Overleen was a filly. So it makes you think that, well, if Celestia and Luna, if Overleen's still alive, where's Celestia and Luna? They're not even mentioned except for that one episode. Twilight must still be alive, because she became Alarcon princess, and they are supposed to have a much longer lifespan compared to a normal pony. And dragons also have a longer lifespan compared to ponies. So Spike's still alive, but yeah, when Spike is talking to Sunny, and when he's talking to Sunny in chapter 6, you know, it's like, oh, you remind me of someone I used to know, of course, Twilight. And I'm just like, well, that don't make any sense. Maybe she got defeated and she died in battle, or I don't know. It's just kind of a bit depressing of what was set up with Frenchby's Magic, only to kind of find out that Twilight's reign didn't last very long, and the fact Twilight is likely no longer around. She's, or they're doing that on purpose, and maybe we are going to get another chapter, because I have been hearing rumours again, speculation, of how chapter 6 ends. It seems to kind of leave it open a little bit for a possibility of a chapter 7. Now, I've heard that that was it. 6 chapters, make your mark finished, tell your tale will continue for one more year till up to 2024, and that's it. That's it for chapter 5. Oh, sorry, Gen 5, Generation 5. That's it. So the fact is that there's rumours and speculation of a possibility, because of how it ends, how chapter 6 ends and how the special ends, that it seems that there is kind of like a possibility of a window. If they did decide to make a further chapter, then they could. If not, then it doesn't matter. So there's kind of like a possible window of opportunity there. But again, I'm not gonna say too much until something official is announced with that. But I know this video's been longer than I intended, but I have had a lot of thought in my head and a lot of opinion. It's been buzzing around my head since I watched the special and the episodes for chapter 6, and overall I'm not very happy with chapter 6. I'm not happy with how the dragons look. I'm not happy with how they're kind of like everything that was, everything that happened up to the conclusion of Gen 4, Frenchby's Magic, and we found out pretty much Twilight is no more by the sounds of it, because Spike seems to speak of her in a past tense rather than So yeah, it's a bit depressing, the fact that they're pretty much all gone, even though Spike's still alive, and Overlean's still alive, or was alive. Well, she still is alive, she's just been imprisoned basically, in like cocooned. But Overleen, she supposedly knew Celestia and Luna when they were fillies, when she was a filly herself. So if Overleen's still alive and she still looks relatively quite young, even though you could say she's using magic to make herself look young, possibly. But if Overleen's still alive and Spike's still alive, Twilight should still be alive, and Ember as well. But Ember wasn't even mentioned. Ember, there's Ember and Smolder, which are two other dragon characters that are introduced in Gen 4. They're not even mentioned, and they're not a part of his party either. So whether, I don't know, it's a bit strange. I understand that they've got to be careful with the characters they bring back, because I spoke about an article I found of the fact that Discovery family own half. They own like a pretty big percentage, or half percentage, of the rights to Frenchby's Magic, the series and the characters. So in Make Your Mark, when a G4 character shows up, as we see with Twilight, Celestia, Luna, and we see Spike. So they have to pay Discovery Family for using those characters' likenesses in Make Your Mark. So they have to pay a fee every time that they show up throughout the series. So it starts to get very expensive. So I understand that they've been very sparse and sparing of bringing in certain G4 characters, even if it's in a past tense, in a dream sequence, it doesn't matter. they have to pay Discovery Family a fee because they still own a large majority of the percentage of the royalties and everything. So I understand that fact, but I just feel a bit let down with Chapter 6 and how it went. And if this is it, if there's going to be no Chapter 7 or Chapter 8 or whatever, if there's going to be no more chapters and that's literally it, as I was led to believe, there we go, that Chapter 6 was it for Make Your Mark. If that's it, then I'm a little bit disappointed by how it's been concluded. Some people might think you was expecting way too much for a kids' cartoon or for My Little Pony, but I just think the quality of the writing compared to G4, it's like night and day in comparison with quality. And I mean, like, yeah, okay, the writing for Friendship is Magic wasn't 100% perfect. There was, you start to see from when it goes to about season 5, season 6 onwards, there's a few seasons of episodes and specials and two-parters and everything that didn't really work as well compared to other stuff. And some fans seem to kind of like stop watching and then come back. You started to get this kind of rift between the fans as it got nearer to the end of, up to the point of season 9. I understand that. Excuse me for coughing. I understand that. The rating wasn't 100% perfect, but compared to Make Your Mark, it was fantastic writing. Even though Friendship is Magic went through this thing of, it was obviously setting stuff up. And you can generally tell there's a shift as it goes on. Like, the whole thing with Spike. Spike was meant to be a lot more than he was. Suppose he was meant to be more. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be an element of harmony user. At least it was hinted at that. But then he became less and less involved, much more of a secondary character than he was before. And he was in less episodes as it went on. So there was that, and then there was other things as well that didn't really happen. The only thing that went from episode 1 and carried on was Twilight becoming an Alarcon princess, and her becoming, taking over Celestia and Luna, and her opening her school, and then her coronation. So that whole thing was pretty much straight as a die. The only other character that her story was the redemption arc, the redemption story for Starlight Glimmer. When she was first announced or first debuted, fans hated her character. People said she was the worst villain in Friendship with Magic. But yet, when she got, when she became good again, and she became friends with Twilight and her friends, and her redemption arc is fantastic. Her character just grows so well, and she becomes a very, very likeable character. The writing there is fantastic. So there is some great writing in Friendship is Magic. It really is, at some points. But with Make Your Mark, the only good writing I can really say is Misty. Misty's the redemption arc for Misty. I generally think, me and Sam have a very similar opinion on this. We think Misty was meant to be the actual main character for Make Your Mark, not Sunny. I know that might sound very daft, and this is just obviously a theory, a fan theory of mine and Sam's that we equally share. mutually share, should I say. Um, but yeah, it's just the writing. It seems a lot more tidier, and it seems to go in a nice straight line compared to everything else. And we feel that maybe Misty was originally meant to be the main character, but they decided to make Sunny the main character and make Misty the final friend, final element bearer instead. But the writing seems a lot stronger for Misty compared to any of the other characters. The only other characters I think that are pretty well done is the sisters, the princesses, Zip and Pip. I think the writing for them two is actually a lot better compared to the others. But there's my 5 cents. But yeah, there's my thoughts on Chapter 6 and the special, and a little bit of extra for you. But thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for your support on the channel. Thank you for your patience, because we was supposed to do a live stream literally the week that these episodes went up, but we just haven't had the time. Hopefully either Sam might upload a video of his own talking about his thoughts. I know he said he might do, or hopefully maybe next weekend or some point very soon, all three of us will do a live stream, and we can get everybody's opinion. This is my opinion, so we can get Sam and Lawrence's opinion on it as well at some point. But yeah, thank you very much for your patience, and thank you for your continued support on the channel. It really does make a lot. It does mean a lot, should I say? It means a lot that we've got a nice, faithful, stable crowd of people that follow us. But anyway, so thank you, and please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Chapter 6, what your thoughts on Make Your Mark and Make Your Mark in general. I know my opinion is going to be different to somebody else's, that's what opinions are. My opinion is going to be different to others. Everyone's going to have different thought process around it. But if you enjoy it, all power to you. I enjoy Make Your Mark to a degree. I love the songs. I love Misty. I love the Misty and Zip and Pip, and I love the whole writing around those characters is great. But I feel they missed an opportunity. That's just what I mean by how I just feel they missed an opportunity, and I feel with the restraints, I think they've had a lot of restraints because of Discovery Family, and it getting a bit too expensive to bring in characters that could still be alive, but they decided not to bring in. But there we are. Thank you so much for watching. You've all been great. You're all awesome, and I shall bid you farewell for now. More videos and live streams coming very soon in the near future. So if any more interesting information comes up in regards to a possibility of a Chapter 7, I know people are speculating it. If official information comes out that there is going to be some kind of continuation for Make Your Mark, we will almost certainly, or myself or all of us, will be doing videos or doing some sort of information update stuff when that stuff's ironed out and is official. But thank you. See you soon, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye for now.